We are live this morning. We are live this morning. Hey, hey. See what we got going on over here in Jewel Land. Yeah, pop to it. All right. Good morning, Jules. Good morning, and welcome to another Saturday morning at the Jewel Well. This morning, we are excited to have a guest here. Miss Emma Mullins is our guest today. As you all know, we have decided that we are going to take on a service project bi-monthly to help improve the region, the southern region. That's because that is what our organization and our board of trustees, we encompass the southern region. So we are very excited about welcoming Miss Emma Mullins in this morning. Miss Emma Mullins is the founder of Mindful Evolution, a safe and supportive group home designed to serve pregnant women ages 18 to 24. We know the statistics on our young women, and you know that Jewel is dedicated to the empowerment and the uplifting of young women across all age genres. But we know that though the young women in that age group, we want to definitely touch. So we are happy to have her. Miss Emma is married and a proud mother and grandmother. She draws daily inspiration from her Christian faith, which deeply informs the way she leads and serves. Emma leads with compassion, integrity, and a deep commitment to seeing every young mother discover her value and God given purpose. For well over a decade, she has built a successful career as an entrepreneur. She operates an event space on a lovely acreage in South Georgia, is a licensed insurance agent and tax professional. Her experience in these fields sharpened her skills in organization. She is a problem solver, an advocate, and all of which now serves as the backbone of Mindful Evolution's operations. I present to you Miss Emma Mullins. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
So tell us a little bit about Mindful Evolutions. Tiffany, as most of some of our jewels know, is our webmaster, and she does a lot for our jewel, you are jewel organization, as far as keeping us organized here. But she recommended Mindful Evolutions as a service project for us. I asked her to give me a little bit more information about it because we are taking this on, and I said, well, tell you what, I said, see if you can get Miss Mullins to come on in and talk to the Jules a little bit about it. And I thank you for obliging us this morning. So talk to us a little bit about your organization, how it got started. We said what it was about, but if you could just go a little deeper for us so our audience knows what it's all about.
I started out by purchasing some real estate not knowing what all it entailed. I was just like, I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna fix it up, and then eventually God gonna give me my purpose. And so I got invited to a convention in Atlanta back in, let's see, back in August. I got invited to a convention, and so I heard a lady speak, and everything that she was talking about, I just felt it deep in my bones, and I was like, I gotta do something. So I have a young daughter who she went to prison early. She served 3 years because she grew up in a domestic situation with me and her dad, seeing being abused. So she made up in her mind that she wasn't gonna be abused. So long story short, she served 3 years. She got out very angry, and we just butted heads. I was like, Lord, I got to put this girl out my house. We got to figure out something. So we did the transition to my son's house. It didn't work. And then just one day I woke up and God was like, I got something for you to do. It ain't
Mm.
time for you to, let her go or whatever. We got a plan. And so that's how the house came about. Hold on just a second. What you need? You gotta just write the information down. So I went in and went into the Secretary of State to find out what all that looked like and entails, and I just started putting it together. And so
Okay.
I got it structured, and I presented it out there, and it was like it took off. I partnered with a wellness center here in Bainbridge, and she was like, that would be great because that's what they wanted to do also was have a safe haven for the young ladies that came into the wellness center that was pregnant, and if they was in a situation, they would be able to house them. And so
Okay.
we did a partnership, and right now it's pretty much being financed, out of my pocket, and I'm okay with that. I only have one young lady, which is my daughter, and she is pregnant, but since this journey of me separating her from myself and telling her like, look, in order for you to be in this space, you got to find your spirituality. And
Yeah.
one thing about me is a lot of people make that optional. When you create these programs and stuff, everything is optional when it comes to God. And
Mm-hmm.
so in my organization or my program, it's mandatory. So
Yes.
you're either gonna be on board with finding out who God is so that He can help you heal, or I can't invite you into this space.
Okay. All
And
right.
so my daughter, she knew about prayer and how to position herself, but that all that anger and trauma built up inside was like, I
Mhm.
need to unleash this on somebody before I can even start. So
Yeah.
that's I gave her that opportunity. Like, look, let it all go. I'm here. Beat me up, say whatever, do whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
when it's all said and done, this is where we're gonna start at.
God. Oh,
And
okay.
so that's what
How
we did.
timely. Oh my God, this is timely. Okay. Okay.
So that's where we at. So every morning she has a spiritual devotion that she have to do, and so do I. I reached out to Tiffany because that's my big dog. That's who keep me in line. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Me
look,
too.
yeah, I need help with setting myself straight on with my spirituality because XYZ. And she was like, friend, I've been waiting. Come over, come over. So I went to visit her. She did XYZ, and it started from there. And so it's like everything been falling in place. And so with that being
Yeah.
said, my daughter, I don't learn how to deal with her. She have her breakdowns, and to where it used to make me angry, I'd be like, girl, you better go talk to your father. Because at this point,
Mm.
this struggle is between you and him, but this is what we going to do. And
Yes.
to where she
Yes.
would react instead of, she was reacting to every situation instead of responding. And I was like, that ain't what we going to do. So
Yeah.
even if I had to stop what I was doing, she got her first job and she would call and she was in her feelings. I was like, I'm on my way. I'll
Mm.
leave my office and I'll go and I'll be like, the first thing you're going to do is say a prayer.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I seen that she was starting to get agitated with that. I'm like, what I told you, take a deep breath, and that's who you need to call on. Because I only could do so much. I
Yes.
only could do so much. And it's like she got in a routine. She'll still call me, but she'll say, Mom, I'm in the bathroom saying a prayer. I just need you on the phone. I'm like, God got it. God got
Mm.
it. And so that's where we at. And it feels so good because we was here, but now we here. So we done made progress. And
Okay.
We have a new young lady from Albany that's on the list. She filled out the application to come into the home, but I feel like it's a lot of stuff going on. So I just told, my partner, like, look, we're going to give it a little time and see, what God has to say. Because I feel like if we rush into moving these girls into the home without them actually knowing what it is that they want, then we create unnecessary problems for the program. And so the
Gotcha.
program is designed to actually bring them out of whatever they're going through
Mm-hmm.
and help them get their spirituality together first. So let's find out who you are and what you want. It don't
Okay.
matter where you came from, what's been going on in your life at this particular moment. This is a safe space for you. So
Okay.
we learn about God. They have to go through counseling. They have to take classes. If they didn't get a high school diploma, they have to get a high school diploma. And
Mm-hmm.
we just connected with all the resources within Bainbridge to be able to make this happen. So if they don't have a job, it is the house itself. We fund everything, but they got to be able to take care of themselves. And so if they don't know how to do that, we teach them how to do that. And we start with God first, then education, and then
Mm-hmm.
we move on to the basic necessities of life. So therefore, they'll pretty much have a routine by the time the baby comes.
So it's one of the key things is that the children, the young ladies, are they must be pregnant. Then
Pregnant. So
okay, so
we.
they're pregnant,
Mhm.
and then they fill out an application, and then you go through a series of questions, and basically this allows them to have. I'm trying to make sure I got it straight in my head. So this allows them to have a roof over their heads without having to worry about being homeless, but they have to make an effort to. How do they go about? Do you all go about helping them to uh, get them started with the process of getting their GED or diploma or getting a job? Do you have connections with like for here in Mississippi, it's the Win Job Center. So there, is it like someone that you connected them with to help them get temporary work until they find permanent work, or how does all that work?
So I don't actually have a direct connect, but what I did was I got out into the community, and where the house is located, it's walking distance to downtown. So
Oh,
all the fast food restaurants, a lot of the shopping plazas and stuff, it's within walking distance. And
okay.
so what I did, I just walk in, I talk to them, find out who the managers are, and I introduce myself and let them know what I got going on. And I was like, during your hiring season, or is it any way that I can connect with you guys in order to be able to say, look, I have 3 girls that need employment, and you pretty much can push us up the ladder as long as their background is clean. And they so far everybody has agreed because everybody is, needs somebody to work. And so,
Mm-hmm.
with that being one of the requirements for being in the home, that you have to get a job, because when the baby comes, you got to have a job, you got to have a way to support the child.
Yeah.
So they agreed. So it's just networking. So I've been doing all the footwork, by getting out into the community, finding out who I can connect with. Different organizations like Family Connections. I've been going to meetings and stuff like that, letting them know that the house exists and what all we need, for us being just having that community support when it comes to these girls and different situations, because everybody come from a different background.
Okay. 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 So once they've had the baby, do they stay until they've had the baby, or how long is there a length of time that they're able
So
to stay at the location, or what? How does that work?
yes, ma'am. So when the girls come into the house, our goal is to have them a place to stay by the time the baby comes. But as you know, that's not always the case. So
Yes.
if the baby comes while they're in the program, then they stay. They stay there with their baby. And I'm working on what I call a transition, the second phase. And
Hmm.
so in the second phase, I'm able to move them into another home, which they would share a room with one other mother and their child. And then at
Okay.
that in that house, they would have to inculcate the skills that they was taught from the first house. So
Okay.
in the first house that's open right now, they move in. They don't have to pay any rent. They don't have any bills. Pretty much, you get a job, you save your money. We teach you about finances, and help you understand that when you transition
Oh,
out, you got to pay rent, you got to pay light bill. So basically, we teaching them all of these things and how it works. And with them having a bank account, we teaching them about finances and how finances work. So you want to be able to have at least 3 months of your rent built up. So when you do transition out of this house and say they get a project or a government housing or something that they can afford, hopefully they got 3 months worth of their rent, light bill, and all of that saved up, so they won't be struggling because they have a
Okay.
time frame after they have the baby. But if not, they get to stay in the second home. But in the second home is when they have bills. Their bills won't be as in if they was in their own apartment or whatever, but they do have to show that they learned how to be financially stable. And so that's what we're working on in the upcoming year is the second house, just in case we have, mothers that haven't found a place to stay once the baby's here.
Okay. Okay. So then Miss Emily, what are some of the things that I was trying to check to see if we had any questions from any of our anybody that was viewing, but I just want to let's see. Tell me about the process with you, because I know for me, You Are Jewel is a nonprofit as well.
Yes, ma'am.
And so, what was your process in getting this started with with a location, a standing location, as a nonprofit? I know you said that you purchased the home and everything. Is there what's that process if you're wanting to, and what did you find as your biggest challenge? As the founder of this and shaping, who you wanted to serve, and so on.
So with the being able to start, I already had the property, and the property, this is my first property that I actually remodeled all the way through. And
Okay,
so my purpose for this property is I was going to turn it into my insurance and tax office, but where it's located at, the city fought me about being able to do that because they say they didn't see a purpose in that within the community that it's located. And
gotcha.
so I wasn't able to do that. And so I rented it for a short period of time, and then the house came about. So then I had to reach out to the city and find out would I have to make any zoning changes or anything like that if I kept it as residential housing, and what would be the requirement through the city. And so, being that nothing changed, pretty much people just living in it just like I would rent it out to a family, a individual family, I didn't have to go through a lot of red tape. And
Okay.
so I had to basically get a business license. And being that I told them I was going to be nonprofit or whatever, I had to provide all of the information showing that I was registered with the state and all the paperwork that comes along with it. And that was the gist of it through the city itself. So no hard work there. Um, Basically, finding out the people that I wanted to serve was in my mind as a woman who started having children at a young age. I didn't have a support system. And
Mm.
so in my mind, I was thinking about the vulnerability of young women between the ages of 18 and 25 is that we get pregnant because we think we know it all, and technically
Mm.
we don't know nothing. And I was one of them that, I was ready to leave home, but it wasn't because I thought I knew everything. It was because of the abuse.
Mm.
And I just wish that I had somebody like me that could guide and lead me into my purpose during those ages. And I didn't, so I struggled a lot. And so I'm always taking people in, children, people themselves. And, as I hear their story, I'm like, I was there and I understand. And
Yeah.
so I was like, if I could just change their thought process about their parents, about God, about just life itself, because we make some bad decisions when we hurt them.
Yes,
And
yes, we do, honey. Yes, we do.
so you turn into survival mode, and all you know is how am I going to survive? How am I going to get through this? And so I just felt like if I could just ease the tension of the surviving part, can you just take a deep breath and be a young girl and
Yeah.
understand that I made a mistake? My mom ain't as bad as I thought. My living situation ain't as bad as I thought. I'm not saying that it went bad,
Yeah.
but let's try to figure out how to redirect those thoughts so that you don't have to repeat the cycle. Because whether we know it or not, we repeat the cycle because we angry and we don't have any guidance.
Yes.
And so that was my thought process behind the house. Because, honey, dealing with my daughter, baby, when I tell you God don't work with me, So I can just only imagine, somebody else that's in the same situation. Being young, you lost, you don't know where you at. Just
Yeah.
let's come sit down and have a conversation. But with that conversation, you find out a lot about where they at and if they're willing
Mhm.
to make these changes. And some are, and some are not. And so we can't help everybody, but the ones that I am able to help, I'm gonna grab hold to them and I'm gonna love them like they mine, and we're gonna go through this process. And not only that, I want them to understand that, living a good life don't always mean you got to work on somebody 9 to 5. What you got going on up in here? Let's help create what your vision is. It don't matter because you're pregnant, because you got a baby, and
Yes,
we need
absolutely.
that. We need that because we've been taught all our life. You just need to get a job, get a job, get a job. Sometimes everybody ain't qualified to work on somebody 9 to 5. So
Hmm.
what is it that you have within you that we can bring out, and then let me show you how to design it to make it become successful for you and this baby that you're bringing into the world, because it's still manageable. But
Yes.
who we have to tell us that? We don't have nobody to tell us that. It's get a job, you got a baby, come, you got to take care of XYZ. That's all we know.
And a lot of time they get stuck in the cycle too. I was blessed. Thank God. I didn't have my first child until I was married at 24 years old. I had two children after that, but of course I was grown, had, career and everything by then. So I didn't necessarily experience that. But I've worked with so many. I'm an educator, a retired educator, sort of semi-retired educator. Let me say that. And so a lot of times, and I'm saying all this to say, a lot of times, even some of our listeners or just people in society say, well, you let yourself get in that situation, you need to get yourself out that situation and all of
Yep.
that. But what we have to understand too, and what my experience in just talking with, young people, young women, young men, is that we are one step away from a bad decision.
Yep.
We all are one step. We are all given grace and mercy by our Father God. And at that point, we have to be able to lend out a hand to someone who may not, and like you said, may not have had the same upbringing as you
Yep.
have. You know what I mean? And when you look at your situation and you look at somebody else's situation, you can't compare that. But at the same time, I heard you say something that's very, very essential to all of this. Your situation may not have been great. Your situation right now may not have been great, but your future is yours.
Yep.
And so you're making them be responsible for once you come here, and I've given you Maslow's hierarchy of needs: shelter, food, you know, uh, so you've got those things, right? And now I need to see what you're going to do, and let me help you first by letting you know who makes this all possible for me, who makes life responsible for you. That is our Lord and Savior. And so you've got to be willing to at least learn about this. I'm not trying to stuff religion. This is what I hear. I'm not trying to stuff religion down your face, but I am exposing you to God. And in order to be here, you've got to at least try to embrace that and understand where you fit in this cosmic circle.
Yes,
I,
ma'am.
I really, I really, I really, that's powerful. So one of the reasons why we wanted you to come on, Miss Emma, is just to kind of talk about You Are Julie is a very, very small uh uh nonprofit organization, but looking to God for bigger, better, and brighter to be able to serve many, many, many. So we're going to you all will be our service project for January. But I want you to let the listeners know, if they have a nonprofit or not, just remind them where you're based, how they can contact you, and some of the things you need in order to help this your the mindful evolution remain intact and being able to serve the young ladies, pregnant young ladies of your region. Tell us what we can do to help you.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm based out of Bainbridge, Georgia. Just at the border of Tallahassee, at the Tallahassee, Florida line, and basically what we're needing at the moment is, I'm self funding the whole program. So I make sure that there's food in the house because that's just one of the things I know when I meet these girls, they come in with nothing. And so food is one thing, and then I'm actually building a shed so that they can have stuff to start off for the babies, like diapers, clothes, t-shirts, you know, baby wipes, hygiene, stuff like that. So just the basic necessities for the house to run, toiletry, the cleaning supplies, stuff like that is the small things that's hindering us right now from me being able to pay the bills to keep it up and going, plus providing everything that the house need at this given moment. So if we can get people to help us with, just the basics of what we need at the house, detergent, stuff like that. We are in need of a washer and dryer because right now I'm washing everything. I just go pick it up once a week and do all of that. And that's pretty much it right now. I'm working on finish fencing it in so that they can have a private backyard. So when the children do come, if they're still house with us, they'll have a sacred place where they ain't got to worry about people coming by, being able to see the kids and stuff like that. But all of that stuff, it'll come in time. And so right now we just trying to keep the bills paid and the basic necessities of the house.
Okay.
And then just spread the word. Whoever, it don't matter where the people at. If they need to get here, I am willing to help them. If it's a young lady in need, the intake process is pretty much about like getting an apartment. You fill out an application. We do have to make sure our background don't matter because with the help of the good Lord, we're gonna get them where they need to be. But they do
Mhm.
have to do drug and alcohol. We do have to do a mental health check, and then we have to make sure that they don't have any type of health issues that can cause problems with the other ladies that living in the house, and be goal oriented. What your plans are, and that's pretty much the gist of getting into the house. The
Okay.
mindset of the young lady. So it ain't nothing strenuous. If they don't come with anything, I'm willing to help them get the basics. From the start, clothes, whatever we need in order to get them in a good space so that they can have a safe delivery and be in a good mindset before the baby get here.
And they have to be between the ages of 18 to 24, though, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But they can come from any state, doesn't matter where. So
Mm-mm.
this is across, across the, it's national basically.
It's national, so
It's
we don't
national.
care where they're coming from. As long as they can get here safe. But we would have to send them the intake process because we have to have that information up front just to make sure. We don't
Okay.
want nobody clashing or anything. And if it's issues that they have, they got to be willing to address them. So if they got mental health issues when they here, they got to continue on the same path for us getting their treatment and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
someone wants to mail you something, Miss Emma, what's the address that we should send it to?
611
611.
Faceville Highway.
Say that one more time.
Faceville,
Okay.
Faceville.
Okay, so it's like Fayetteville Highway. Uh-huh.
Bainbridge, Georgia.
BAN.
Banbridge.
Okay. BANBRI.
R I D
Uh-huh.
Ge.
Okay, just like Bainbridge. BANBRIDGE, Bainbridge, Georgia. Okay.
39819.
39819. Okay. All right. So 18 to 24. It's a national organization. And how many ladies do you have right now?
I only have one, so we have 3 beds available at this
Okay.
moment.
Okay, so you have 3 beds and one, so you only have 2 beds right now available.
No, we have 3 available. We have four,
Oh,
so it's two to a
okay.
room. Yeah, we can house 4 women at a time.
Okay, 4 women at a time. Okay. Well, ladies, you and gentlemen, if you're out there, other nonprofits, you heard it here. This is Mindful Evolutions. It is, if you're just joining us, or if you'll see this later, or even a year from now, this is an organization. It's a actual physical location where young ladies between the ages of 18 and 24 who are pregnant have a place to call home for a while, with of course, stipulations and wanting to be better, get better, and be better. But it's for 18 to 24. It is in Bainbridge, Georgia. It is owned and run by Miss Emma Mullins, who has her own story if you go back and listen to the rest of the live. And the address is 611 Fayetteville Highway, Bainbridge, Georgia 39819. If you need that in writing, if you will just message me, then we can do that. But we can also put it in on the Facebook page. I'll have Tiffany to put it on the Facebook page when she makes the flyer for this month. But this Mindful Evolutions will be You Are Jules January service project. We wanting to get donations for baby items, baby wipes, diapers, whatever you can gather for a child, so that they're able to have something to take away with them when they leave the house, but also to help Miss Emma serve the house. When because Miss Emma, I didn't ask you this question. Once the young ladies have the baby, how long are they able to stay with you beyond that point?
Well, as long as we able to get the second house up and running in 2026, we're trying to extend it to another 18 months.
Okay,
So
so they
hopefully we'll be done found them housing before that, but we're gonna do it up to another 18 months.
So once they have the baby, well, you're looking for housing all along, but once they have the baby, then you try to give them at least 18 months after that to okay. All right.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. I think that's my cue because my little one has well woken up this morning and he takes over the conversation. Okay, it's in the room with Papa. Okay. I got my one of my grandbabies here this morning. So he spends the weekend with us. Well, Miss Emma, listen, is there anything that you would like to add to this? And I see Tiffany has come back on. Tiff, is there anything that you would like to add to this conversation before we close out this morning?
Because my signal is needs improvement.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
I'm just glad that Emma was able to join the Jewels this morning, and getting the word out about her nonprofit that is so needed in this day and time. And I'm just
Yeah.
grateful that we could collaborate in this way.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we will be talking very soon, and my goal is to, at some point in 2026, to be able to come down and visit Mindful Evolution.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is I'm gonna add that to my 60 by 60 list. Put it on my bucket list.
And I'm gonna make sure you get that one in.
And listen, you hear that? You hear her right?
I thank y'all so much. Thank you for having me.
We
Thank you,
thank
Miss
you,
Tiffany.
and we
Thank you,
thank you
Emma.
for
I love you.
serving the young women of this world because they really need it, and we're doing the same thing. Let's work together to make it happen.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all again for having me.
Bye bye. Thank you, Jules, for listening. Whether you're listening now or whether you'll be listening in the future. Thanks again. Have a great day and a
Y'all
happy
too.
holiday. Bye
Y'all too.
bye. Mama, what my iPad? Huh? I want my iPad. I'm trying to turn it on, Papa. There it is. Oh, it's me, that fat one. Huh? That's me. Yeah, that's you, my love. What's that? You didn't mess your cord up, did you? Did you snatch this down or did Papa give it to you? Did Papa get it to you or did you take it down yourself? I figured that.